Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of general medicine where I make a dreadful topic easy to learn. And for that, I shall be referring to the Mind Maps for General Medicine by Medi Study Go. This particular book contains every topic in pictorial format as you can see over here. This is the topic for today, which is migraine, and it has been depicted in pictorial tabs under certain headings, which makes it very easy to remember. And you can get this Mind Maps book for yourself from any e-commerce website like Amazon, Flipkart, Dentalcart, and even the website by Medi Study Go. So let's get into the lecture for today. As I always say, every topic must be studied under certain headings because that way you can create a storyline for a topic and remember it easily. So starting with today's topic, which is migraine, the first and the foremost heading shall always be introduction and definition. To define migraine, it is usually a recurrent, usually unilaterally occurring, throbbing headache which lasts for 4 to 72 hours. So it attacks typically last for 4 to 72 hours and they contain a situation which is known as aura. Aura is something which is preliminary symptom which the patient feels before the actual headache starts. So it gives a feeling of dizziness, restlessness, and the patient starts feeling difficulty or sensitivity towards light and harsh sounds. That is photophobia and phonophobia. So the aura includes sensory, motor, and visual manifestations which the patient feels. This migraine can be of several types, which includes migraine without aura, that is the preliminary situation is not present and only the headache comes. This is known as the common migraine and is usually reversible and lasts for some minutes only. Second is migraine with aura, which is known as the classical migraine. It consists of an aura wherein the patient wants to just lie down in a dark room without any noise because the patient is feeling delirium and also some photophobia and phonophobia. So that is migraine with aura. Coming to the third type, which is chronic migraine, which occurs more than 15 days a month, the patient complains about it. Then there can be migraine equivalent, wherein focal neurologic deficit is also present, but headache is not present. Lastly, there can be a complicated migraine, and it can also be accompanied by some situational migraine like hemiplegic migraine, which is in the case of hemiplegia. Then there can be menstrual migraine in the case of menstruation during the menstruation in females, and there can be retinal migraine. So these are the various types of migraines which can happen because of different manifestations. After we know the types of the migraine, we need to know how migraine is happening. What is the actual situation which is leading to such an occurrence of headache? And this leads us to the next heading, which is the causes of headache. Causes of headache can be primary, secondary, and systemic causes. Primary is which is actually related to the head or the brain. That is migraine, tension headache, cluster headache, and benign paroxysmal hemicrania. Primary headache is basically where no structural disorder is present underneath and actually the headache is happening. Tension headache is the patient feels like a band-like headache all over the forehead. Cluster headache is usually unilateral and periorbital in region. Coming to secondary headache is when there is some structural disorder or malformation or disease which is present, which is leading to headache as a manifestation, and headache is not directly happening. This can be because of intracranial causes and extracranial. Intracranial causes include hemorrhage, which can be subarachnoid and intracranial of any category. There can be cerebral ischemia, which leads to less cardiac output towards the brain, therefore causes headache. Then there can be meningitis, encephalitis, which is forms of inflammation of the meninges of the brain. Then there can be obstructive hydrocephalus, wherein the CSF increases and the brain space is obstructed. The cavity of the brain gets filled up with fluid. That can also lead to pressure on the brain and in turn cause headache. That is migraine. There can be benign intracranial hypertension, wherein the pressure of the blood in the brain increases. Next, there can be extracranial causes like giant cell arteritis, sinusitis, glaucoma, dental disease. These four don't really have a manifestation directly involving the brain, but somehow they are situated in areas surrounding the brain and have manifestation in the head. For example, a patient experiencing pain in a maxillary molar can get radiated towards head and the patient can complain of headache also. Although the etiologic agent over here is a tooth and not really some problem in the head or the brain. So that is the extracranial cause. Coming to systemic causes, there can be fever, hypertension, anemia, drugs like nitrates and depression, which can come along with the feeling of headache and migraine. So these will be the causes of migraine which can lead to a headache situation. Now, what happens if such a trigger is actually present? How does a headache differ towards a migraine and a situation of such severe headache happens? So migraine basically happens due to the activation of trigeminal vascular system. Means the trigeminal nerve gets activated and the vessels of the body get hypertensive. So the old theory was that whenever there is vasodilatation, it will lead to pain, that is headache, and whenever there is vasoconstriction, it will lead to a situation of aura. But this was an old theory which wasn't really based on the scientific mechanism of how migraine is happening. So the current theory states that whatever triggers might be present, like these foods, alcohol, stress, lack of sleep, hormonal change, genetic predisposition, etc., these lead to a disturbance in the brain functions due to disturbance in limbic system, hypothalamus and brainstem. This causes an initiation of the migraine. Secondly, if there is genetic predisposition, such patients have hyperexcitable brain originally or genetically. This leads to initiation of migraine. Thirdly, there can be trigeminal neurons which get activated, as I mentioned before. This leads to the release of neuropeptides like substance P and CGRP, which increase the meningeal inflammation and therefore lead to the migraine attack. Also, there can be cortical spreading and depression, which leads to a wave of electrical activity passing through the cortex. Increased activity can lead to meningeal inflammation in turn, which thereby leads to migraine initiation. And also, this cortical spreading and depression can be responsible for aura because such high electrical activity can initiate the activity of migraine beforehand, and the patient can feel all the symptoms that are felt in the stage of aura. Lastly, there can also be some neurogenic inflammation and disorders, which leads to the inflammation of the vessels of the brain and thereby leads to migraine. So these are the basic mechanisms by which migraine happens in different scenarios. After we know the etiologic agents and the types or the pathophysiology of migraine, we need to know how to come to a confirmatory diagnosis that this patient doesn't really have a normal headache, but is actually a patient of migraine. For that, we use the diagnostic criteria, wherein at least 2 of these features plus 1 of this minor feature must be present. The major features include unilateral pain, throbbing pain, motion sensitivity, and moderate to severe intensity of the headache, which means that unilateral pain on one side of the head and not bilateral. Throbbing pain wherein the patient sees like I feel something is being banging in my head like some hammer. Third, motion sensitivity. If the patient is moving around, the patient is going to have an increased headache. Also, it can vary in severity in the form of moderate to severe and not really of mild situation. The minor features which can be present include nausea, vomiting, and normal physical examination can show the patient is very low on energy and is fatigued and restless because he is experiencing headache. So this forms the diagnostic criteria for investigating the presence of migraine. Now, after we know what all causes can happen and how the migraine looks like, we need to know what are the stages of migraine. So as we discussed, there is a stage of aura which happens in some situations. So the stages of migraine include prodrome, aura, and the headache stage followed by the postdrome stage. So the prodrome stage usually starts 1 to 2 days before the headache and is characterized by a feeling of change in mood, yawning, difficulty in reading and writing, some food cravings, and neck stiffness. This feeling, which is 1 to 2 days before the actual headache, is followed by the presence of aura. It happens in 25% patients and occurs 60 minutes before headache. And the most common manifestation is visual, where the patient is not really interested or gets annoyed when he sees sparky lights or even normal flashlights in the room due to LEDs or LCDs. So the patient wants a dark room because that is going to give him sort of relief. So aura is characterized by flashing lights, disturbance, blurring of vision, pins and needle sensation in the headache, and numbness can also be felt. These are basically the neurologic symptoms which happen before the actual headache. In headache stage, it usually lasts for 4 to 24 hours. So the headache is usually unilateral of throbbing intensity and is accompanied with nausea and vomiting. This is the main headache stage where the patient is actually experiencing the pain. The headache stage also worsens if the patient does any physical activity. And the patient also experiences photo and phonophobia, which is sensitivity towards light and sound. Within the postdrome stage, the patient is exhausted, has muscle weakness, and is in a depressed situation and just wants to rest. So these are the 4 stages of migraine, which is prodrome, aura, headache, and postdrome. After we know the stages, we are going to move towards the treatment, which includes several aspects like the preventive treatment, non-pharmacological, and pharmacological treatment. So the non-pharmacological treatment includes identification and the avoidance of triggers. If some patient has triggers like strong smell of any perfume or any specific food item or some excess flashy lights and sound, the patient must avoid those because that is something preventive towards migraine. There can be requirement of meditation and psychotherapy, which can also be used as non-pharmacologic aids. Coming to pharmacological aids, we can use non-specific and specific agents. So non-specific is basically some painkillers and some antiemetic drugs which control the feeling of nausea and vomiting. For painkillers, we can use NSAIDs like ibuprofen, diclofenac, or aspirin. For the feeling of nausea and vomiting, we can include antiemetics like metoclopramide, chlorpromazine, which decrease the nausea and vomiting feeling in the patient. Now, this is not actually resolving migraine. This is just decreasing the symptoms which are present along with the headache, that is nausea, vomiting, and the head pain. So if we want specific treatment, then the main drug line, which is the choice of drug for migraine, is Triptans. That is the sumatriptans. The subcutaneous injection can be given or nasal sprays can also be kept by the patient so that whenever a migraine attack is felt, the patient can use these. This is the drug of choice and must be remembered for any MCQ question which you're going to answer as well as for Viva questions. After the pharmacologic and non-pharmacologic treatment, there are some preventive treatments like beta blockers, antidepressants, anticonvulsants, and calcium channel blockers. All these, they don't actually cure the migraine. They are just so that they prevent the occurrence of any trigger, which can thereby lead to migraine. So if the trigger is avoided, in turn, the migraine in itself gets prevented. So these are those preventive agents. Coming to another specific agent which can be used is CGRP, which is calcitonin gene-related peptide antagonist. Example of this drug is rimegepant, which is given as a 75 mg single dose it's given. So what is the benefit of this drug? That CGRP is an enzyme or a peptide which is released at the trigeminal nerve endings when migraine is happening. So these antagonists, they block this release of CGRP. They inhibit it and therefore the nerve signal will not be transferred for pain and the patient's migraine will get cured. Secondly, you can use selective serotonin receptor agonists which also prevent this trigeminal action and prevent the migraine from happening. Examples of these also include triptans. Then you can use transcutaneous supraorbital nerve stimulation because stimulating that in turn stimulates the trigeminal nerve and numbs it down for some time, thereby decreasing its activity. And the last option over here is non-painful remote electric neurostimulation, wherein a farther area is stimulated electrically but in a non-painful manner so that the trigeminal nerve's excitation can be decreased and overall the attack of migraine can be subsided and the migraine pain can be reduced. So this is how you can manage migraine using preventive, non-pharmacologic, pharmacologic, and some specific agents for the curing of migraine. If you study a topic in such a format of a cycle or a storyline with some main headings, it becomes easy to learn the topic in a specific order. And also, what accompanies your preparation is the solving of questions. And if you're someone who loves to write down everything and creates notes, then this mind map book is going to help you because it contains several empty pages also where you can create your mind maps of your own. And if you are a person who wants digital usage of it, then you can go on to our app by MediStudy Go, log on to it, choose a mind map and even create flashcard for yourself. Now, flashcard is a simple question. For example, for this topic, if we see a flashcard, what is the dental consideration of a patient suffering from migraine? Now, if you solve such a flashcard in the app, you are going to flip this over and the answer will be revealed, which is that the migraine can mimic tooth pain in some situations because it can radiate towards the maxillary and the mandibular jaws. So whenever you solve such a flashcard in the app, you can easily visualize the explanation and even test yourself by just looking at the question. Also, if you want to solve some MCQ questions, then such questions are easily available, like the drug of choice for acute migraine attack is triptans, PCM, antibiotics, or insulin. So it's triptans as we studied just now. And then you can visualize the answer along with the explanation right there on the app. And if you want to see what the apps looks like, it's something like this. This is the interface wherein we have many resources like the mind maps, notes, videos, flashcards, and MCQs present on the app by Medi Study Go, which can be available on iOS as well as Android. And if you'd like to see more such videos on different topics of general medicine or any other subject, you must subscribe to our channel, like this video, and drop a comment if you have any doubt regarding the video or about procuring these resources as I mentioned here. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.